Yeah, I went flying yesterday. It's pretty cool, nice weather, and I was helped out by the good people at Nav Canada. Welcome to the Superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be talking about the good people at Nav Canada. What is Nav Canada, you might say? Well, years ago, there was all the air traffic controllers and all that stuff. Anything that had to do with aviation in Canada, it was all done by Transport Canada. And so after, I don't know, one thing led to another, and then this company, nonprofit company called Nav Canada, took over, and now that they take care of air traffic controllers, publications, and I'll tell you all about them here. And they're all really good people, from what I've found, except for one guy years and years ago, but he retired. So I might tell you that story too. And another update here, just in case if you saw my last episode where I sewed a button onto a shirt, which really didn't have anything to do with aviation, but I don't know. I guess you got to wear a shirt if you're flying around. But it's like I went to go put on my other standard Hawaiian shirt, and today I was gonna wear this bad boy, but this is an oldie but a goodie. This is a shirt that turned me on to wearing rayon instead of cotton. Kind of breathes better. But look at this thing. I go to stick it on, and the top button's missing. Right there, you can see some little stringy bits left over. Like, what do you mean? I lost a button off my other shirt, then I lost a button off of this shirt. Uh, I don't know. Am I am I wearing out my shirts too much or something? I don't know. But anyways, we're going to be talking about Nav Canada, and what does Nav Canada do? I will bring out the whiteboard. Ta-da! Nav Canada. What do they do? I don't know. Why don't you call them up? So if you call them up, their phone number across Canada is 1-866-WX brief. And if you're too young to know what that WX brief thing means, you'll have to Google it. You see, in the old days, there used to be letters that were underneath the numbers on telephones, and then you like a W would be, I don't know. I got a rotary dial phone over there that doesn't work, but I could go look, but I don't feel like it. What is that? 9? Something like that. So yeah, it's I don't know what it is. So but anyhow, 1-866 WX brief, stick it in your phone and just hit it when you want to call it. So that is who you call up in Canada. And whenever people like when people start, and I've done it myself many times, I always forget what is that number you call for flight planning or weather briefings or anything like that. If you dial, okay, this is 1-866 WX brief. In the United States, it's 1-800 WX brief. So we call that up here, and it's like, you have reached Lockheed Martin. I'm like, what? No, I want to talk to Nav Canada. And hey, Wrench, welcome to the show. So yeah, it was like, okay, you call up 1-866 WX brief. And I've done that before on show here. And I said, hey, do you want to be live? And the guy's like, no, I can't do that. Because apparently you got to go through all the yeah, it's like it's not their job to go on YouTube shows. So anything would have to be through the public relations department there at Nav Canada. And I don't know, one of these days I might see if I can, I don't know, talk to them or something. But I just wanted to talk about Nav Canada today because I went flying yesterday, and it's like, okay, you're interacting with the air traffic controller, but also yeah, they're checking out the weather and stuff like that. So if you're ever, or say you're learning how to fly, you want to learn all those funny little METAR, TAF, all those funny little codes and things like that. If you get a real oddball one, you can always call them up and say, hey, what does, let's just see here. Okay, here's one that no one ever knows, but it's kind of a funny one. So this is something that you can call up, and I'm sure the good people at Nav Canada get calls all the time because someone will see this on a I don't know, some kind of METAR or something. Hey, what's the temperature? And you get this automated response, Freund, and everyone's asks everybody at the flight school, what the heck is a Freund, man? I don't know, but that actually stands for frost on indicator. So if you have a it's a really cold day out there, sometimes it's so frosty around the all the weather equipment that they have at the airport that it just doesn't give a reading. So there you go. You can use that for your climate change conspiracy theory people. And oh, hey Brian, welcome to the show. There you go. Frost on indicator. You only get that in the wintertime every once in a while. But now Canada, you call them up, and I have done that. It's like, hey, what's this fine thing, dude? They say, oh, frost on indicator. It means you can't get the weather. Oh, okay. And then the sun comes up, melts off the frost, and then you can get all your information you need. Okay, so what else does Nav Canada do? What do they do? Let's see. Number two. Okay. Yeah, I guess their big thing there is if you are going to be flying around in Canada, these guys are the absolute best guys to call for weather. Okay. A lot of that stuff is online where you can just, I'll just check it on my phone or check it on my computer and okay, yeah, weather looks good and stuff. But if it's ever kind of marginal or changing or something there's a little bit weird, you give them a call, and the flight service specialists are the people that you call here at 1-866-WX brief, and they have access to all this extra weather information that you don't easily have access to. So they could say, oh, let me take a look at the satellite. Boom. Okay, that's cool. Let me look at the radar. Boom. Okay, we got that. Now let's take a look at the different levels. And they can zoom in and out and stuff like that and see, oh, well, if you're flying down here, that should be clear here from this time to that time. You might run into troubles here around here, but you could get this precipitation. And so they have all their weather, the weather services that they have that they can easily pull up on their computer, and they're pros at it. So they'd just be like, oh, well, let me see what it says over the Lansing radar is in Michigan. Okay, boom, we got that. Oh, yeah, that's on the way. So, like, you can't, if you're in Canada down here in southwestern Ontario, it's kind of like if you're looking at they call it a geographical forecast, the GFA map, and it kind of ends at the Canadian border. So there could be a whole bunch of crap coming in from the States and you wouldn't know it based on that. And but the good people at Nav Canada that just say, well, let's see what it's doing in Michigan, or looking at Illinois coming up here, so that's pretty cool. And they also take care of so weather is their big one. It never ever hurts to get a good weather briefing from a specialist. So the other thing is Nav Canada does is they put out all their publications here, like the Canada Flight Supplement. This has got a list, that big thick book that's got information on every aerodrome in Canada, not the water aerodromes, but yeah, every if it's registered as a airport, it's in here, and it's got phone numbers to call, frequencies to go in, what are the numbers of the runway, obstacles, everything you need in one book right there. And I think that depending on how you get it, you can get that for your iPad too. But this is an oldie. This is an oldie but a goodie. But yeah, that's what the Nav Canada logo looks like right there. Boom. And yeah, so they do that. They do charts, or they like to call them charts, but a non-pilot would call them maps. But yeah, you get all your official up-to-date maps and stuff like that from Nav Canada. They publish them, they sell them, they distribute them, and stuff like that. And what else could I tell you there? Yeah, so you will get all your weather and stuff like that. Okay, and stuff. I got to stop saying that. So sometimes you ever notice that you get like in the habit of like saying you say something like all the time, all of a sudden, and you're like, how did that happen? There was a while there, everybody was saying, oh yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, 100%. It's like, where'd that come from? Probably from a really, I don't know, famous Joe Rogan podcast or something. So here we go. The other thing that we have, I kind of mentioned it before, is your air traffic control. So all your air traffic controllers, they all work for Nav Canada. They get their paychecks from them. And so whether you're talking to a control tower here in Windsor, where I am, or you're going to be talking to maybe a busier center like Toronto or Montreal or something like that, Then there's different layers of air traffic control and all that other stuff, and those are all Nav Canada people. And yeah, so I guess talking about controllers, that there was only one like I guess some air traffic controllers are nicer than others, more professional than others, but like generally, like they're all good. If you're doing something dumb and you piss them off, like I like joking around sometimes, and they kind of don't like that. So you can kind of get, or it's bad because I did this once where I just didn't hear what they said, so I said say again, but they thought I was joking with them because to make them say more stuff, and it was a misunderstanding, but we're all good. Yeah, this one old guy, the crusty old guy, he used to work at the Windsor Tower here, and he he would just like, I don't know, he was so close to retiring, he'd just like sit there and start lecturing you. It's like, hey, you didn't when I call your call sign, you're supposed to get back to me within a certain amount of time, and don't just ignore it when I'm telling you to extend your downwind. And you're like, what? This guy never talked to me. Like, I guess he was kind of he'd have like a little microphone there, and he'd forget to hit the button to transmit. So he's just kind of talking to himself, and people wouldn't hear him. And then he would just start lecturing people on the downwind, and it's like other people are getting like, hey, I need to be cleared to land, and he's like lecturing somebody just flying around. But the old guy retired, and everything. That was the only guy that was even remotely like unprofessional, or I don't know, not too not one of the good people at Nav Canada. He was just a little rusty and crusty, but he's gone. All the rest are good now. So yeah. Okay, so that was it. Air traffic control. So even it's kind of funny how all these systems are kind of they're all connected. So I mean, the air traffic control guys, you could be talking to someone here, and then you'll get passed on to someone as you get closer to your destination. You'll say, "Hey, talk to this guy in Toronto," and then, "Hey, talk to this guy at this airport." So they kind of follow you through as you're flying from one zone or one area to another. They'll kind of push you or help you along like that. They'll also be kind of keeping an eye on you because they'll be like, oh, there's maybe you're in some place where it's uncontrolled. You're not talking on the radio. You're just having a nice day flying around out in the countryside, and they're looking at you on radar, and they'll tell someone else, oh yeah, you got another aircraft at 3,000 feet at about your 11 o'clock. Oh yeah, okay, thanks. They're kind of, when they have the time and they're not too busy, they can kind of give you a little alerts on, hey, there's glider activity over here today. Watch out for people soaring. Okay, I didn't know about that. Thanks. So they'll do stuff like that. And when it comes to that, they'll also, like the airplane that I had in my thumbnail for the show. That's an actual airplane that they use to calibrate the ILSs and like all the navigational approaches and stuff like that. So they have this jet, and it's kind of cool whenever they show up to calibrate all the navigation instruments. They do all these approaches, and they do kind of overshoots and stuff. So they're giving her the gas and makes a bunch of noise, and it's really cool. So I always like it when the Nav Canada guys come to calibrate the ILS or something like that. And then, yeah, so they're in charge of maintaining, calibrating all of your navigation instruments for the people that like to fly with instruments. And yeah, so there's another thing, and a newer thing that they've gotten into. If you're ever wondering what you should do, say you got a drone for Christmas, they'll tell you all about drones too. So if you call this number here and say, "Hey man, I got a drone for Christmas. Can I fly it at the end of the runway for the airport?" And they'll say, "No, there's airplanes there. That's not safe." Oh, thank you. But yeah, actually, I think a lot of those drones right out of the box, they won't even fly if you're too close to an airport. And I'm not really too familiar with all of the rules that come with flying a drone here. And then if you're in the United States, there's other rules. You'd probably, I'm sure over there, you could probably talk to the good people at Lockheed Martin or FAA. It's kind of different in the States. Different people do different things there. So, yeah, but if you go to the Nav Canada website, it's very, you can find out anything you want. And if you're ever curious about drone stuff, if you are a drone operator, you're flying around in my airspace. I'm flying around in your airspace. And let's try not to fly into each other. So it's I mean, if you're in a plane and you hit a little drone, it's probably like, okay, it's going to cost you some money, but it won't be really deadly. It'll just be expensive for the airplane. For the drone operator, you can write off your drone. Bye bye. And that gets pricey. So I wouldn't say drones are like a huge safety issue, but yeah, I mean, I can't really think of any plane actually where there's like fatalities because of a drone. But as drones get bigger and bigger, and then now you can start getting into a little bit more troubles there. So we always want to make sure we're not smacking into anything up in the air. Okay, and the other thing that Nav Canada does to keep us all safe. Okay, we'll say emergency stuff. So if there's some sort of an emergency at all related to airplanes or helicopters or whatever, balloons, you you give them a call. Hey, 1866 WX brief. I don't know who to call. This guy in the basement said call you. And they'll say, why, thank you. We are the good people at Nav Canada. We will contact the local police or the local fire department or and Nav Canada, those are the guys that send out search and rescue looking for you when you don't close your flight plan and you're sitting there having a few drinks at the bar after, and you say, oh, I forgot to close my flight plan. And there's like, that's okay. Nav Canada called the airport and they said, no, the plane showed up. They talked to the other Nav Canada controller. No, they were here an hour ago. Okay. We won't be sending out the Hercules and the Cormorant to go, the search and rescue guys, and then charging the owner thousands of dollars for not closing a flight plan, which can happen. So, yeah, there we go. What can they do? Call them up. Feel free to call them up. They are some of the most friendly people you will ever meet. They're very enthusiastic and professional about their jobs. Give them a shout. And a lot of times, if something's complicated, it's better to talk to a person rather than, I always think about for communication, texting is, it's got to do with like, there's different layers of communication where some are better than others. So just a quick text, you here yet? Here. Okay, so it's very simple. Are you here? Yeah, I'm here. So so the texting, but are you here? What time will you be here, and which entrance will you be coming to, and will you be arriving from the north or the south? Okay, that's complicated for texting. Maybe it's a little better for an email, but like the more complex it is, the more you should just get on the phone and it's faster. That's what I find. So yeah, you could probably find out more information with a 2-minute call to a specialist at W1866WX brief. A couple minutes talking to someone there on their super fast computer and super good information that can save you. That's probably 15 minutes of Google searching or something. They will tell you all about the weather. They take care of all your air traffic control and all that other fun stuff, and also deal with publications. Yeah, I was going to put publications here, but that would have gotten more than 5, and I like 5. If you're worried, if you're wondering about drone stuff, give them a shout. And any emergencies with airplanes or even drones, give them a shout. And mon amour, bonjour. Bonjour. Okay, so there's that. If you want to, and one last little thing before I get to any questions or anything like that, I'll give you the website. Pretty simple. I guess this is lowercase. Okay, imagine I'm writing this in lowercase. So it's just navcanada.ca. .ca for Canada. Oop, there we go. navcanada.ca. And they are hiring. Nav Canada is always hiring. And if you want to be an air traffic controller, you make a ton of money. Okay, they are highly paid. So You got to be on your toes and you got to be pretty sharp. And yeah, it's they you got to really you got to have the air traffic controller mind, which probably only I don't know. There's only a certain percentage of people that have that type of mind that could do that for like a career, but I don't think I could. It's too intense. I like to chill out, but I look out the window and let the student fly the plane. So yeah, so for air traffic controller, check them out. And I was checking out the navcanada.ca website too, and they're hiring. There's a little section there for careers, and they do more than just air traffic controller. There's a lot of computer jobs there, so you're in IT. Oh, another thing too for air traffic controller, all you need is a high school diploma. No other, they'll train you for what they want. So you just got to be really. I can see 5 airplanes in my head at the same time going in different directions, and that's what they do. Takes a little bit of training to do that, but yeah, that's why they get the big bucks because not everyone can do that job. But maybe if you're really awesome in video games or something, you could do that. So, yeah, that's that. We're gonna go through here. Just a few little people popping in here today. And so Wrench said, hey, hey. And then Brian was in here too. So I went flying with Brian yesterday and I got the lawnmower, guys. we did the deal at the airport. So I traded him some flying time and stuff like that for a lawnmower. So I haven't tried it yet, but lawnmower made it home in one piece and it started at home as a test. So here we go. What percentage of flights you file a flight plan? Seems like with a plan, you no longer get to wander around and look at cool stuff. Yeah, it would be in Canada. It's a little different than the United States. I haven't really, I've never actually flown in the United States. I've known a lot of people that have, but I haven't actually done that. But they were saying that, like here, it's mandatory that you file a flight plan with Nav Canada or a flight itinerary with a responsible person if you're going to be going more than 25 nautical miles from your home airport. There you go. And so what you can do if you want to go fool around and look at cool stuff, you can still do that. They expect you for search and rescue purposes, they expect you to go like directly from one spot to another spot. But if you want to say, hey, I'm going to go check out these hills over here, or who's on the beach over here, as long as your ETA is the same, they kind of don't care. But if you want to go fool around, you can call them up on the radio and say, hey, I'm fooling around up here. After that, I'll be going direct to this airport. And they'll say, okay, thanks. They put it in the computer. You just tell them that's what you're doing. And yeah, that basically, yeah, you just do that. So yeah, they'll always accommodate you, unless they're super, super busy doing something, but that's very rare. Okay. What else we got? AOPA used to send out an airport book. I always used it. Now you're expected to have all that info, GPS planes. I fly no GPS. Yeah, well, it's probably something I don't know how it is in the States there, Wrench, but I think I would imagine that somebody somewhere would have. Well, actually, that'd be a really thick book. There's a lot more airports in United States than Canada, so I guess it wouldn't be a book. It would probably be, yeah. Oh well, update your 4 flight subscription, pay that money, stuff like that. And bonjour. Okay. Also, ATC, no college required. Yep. So, and flying radio controlled lawnmowers are fun. Those are always cool. Been around for a while. Okay, and Daniel, I'm glad you were lurking here today, and I appreciate you coming by too, buddy. Okay. Yeah, okay. Wrench filed a flight plan once ever in training. I don't see the advantage. Yeah, like I was saying, for the advantage of the flight training. Oh, I'll leave that up there. Yeah, the only advantage of there for the flight plan is that for like search and rescue, if they expect you to be here at this airport at this time, you're like not there for a couple hours, okay, and you're hung up in the straps upside down in your airplane hanging in a tree somewhere, you know 30 feet off the ground. Well, maybe someone can get you, or it's getting nighttime and it's getting a little chilly there. They can send out some people in a truck looking for you on your route where they expect you might be. So I'd say, yeah, the flight plan, it's really kind of beneficial for search and rescue in case something happens. That would be the main benefit. So, okay. Yeah, that is about it. Very cool. And yeah, that's about it. So today is Monday, and my grass is too short. I can't cut my grass with my new lawnmower. That's kind of ticking me off. But I do have my button. I got to sew another button on this shirt. Got another button. And then the next, it always comes in threes, right? Am I going to lose this one next? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So today's Monday. So I'll be back on Wednesday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. You know that. And as usual, guys, thank you for watching. Bye.